I'm definitely more energetic. Hopefully you can see that from the way I am. I'm sitting and speaking to you in the camera. But yeah, definitely far, far away, but perhaps twice as good as I was last time. But but nowhere near my former self. Ironically or interestingly enough, a lot of the people out there that I've been, reading about, speaking to on these online support forums were very fit, very active people like me. In fact, far fitter and far more active than me. A lot of marathon runners and what have you, personal trainers, and they're all going through long COVID. And it's interesting that it's these fit, able people are the ones that seem to be suffering a lot, with very similar symptoms to me. I really hope that no one else in Bermuda ends up like me. But statistically speaking, there's going to be 1 in 10 of the most recent cases may well end up in somewhat similar situation, unfortunately.
You're saying that you really haven't been able to connect with anybody going through the same symptoms, to the degree that you're experiencing with long COVID?
No. The last week when I spoke with this girl in London was the first person that I've spoken to physically who has been going through a similar journey to me. Outside of that, I've been very much alone. Obviously, I've got my support network, but there is something different about speaking to somebody who's going through something similar versus people who are doing their best to understand but really cannot relate. And no one can relate unless they're going through this. It's impossible to explain or describe what I'm going through, the symptoms, the range of symptoms, some of which I don't feel free or comfortable discussing on this medium, but it's tough. And finally being able to speak with someone and say, did this happen to you? Did that happen to you? And they're like, yes or no, or what have you. It felt like, I wasn't alone. And I think that, people out there will be going through this, unfortunately. And just to know that there are others out there, and I'm happy to provide some support or help, if I'm further down the road than you, that it does get better. I'm not 100%, I'm nowhere near. And hopefully I will continue to improve and help other people further down the line with some motivation to keep going, because there are times when it's tough to want to keep going.